On today's show, we see how following a spiritual guru could actually restrict your spiritual development. Relax. I'm pretty sure they're not talking about me. We also see the beautiful interplay between issues and healing for those same issues in the same dream. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello, welcome everybody. It's so exciting to see you. And are you ready for another exciting week of dreams? Yeah, I am too. Let's go.
All right. Well, don't forget, we have our Dream Summit, October 10th to 12th. It's free. We do ask for a refundable deposit. It's not that big, $97. But for 3 days, it's absolutely amazing value because you get your money back. And the link to get it is dream-analysis.com/free summit, all one word. Sandy, anything to add?
No, I'm excited for you all to come to the summit because it is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And of course, I'm going to put Michael in the hot seat and have him channel on dreams. That's always fun to watch. Right, Michael?
Oh, thank you so much, Sandy, for your vote of confidence, for pushing me under the bus. Well, what do we do here? We eavesdrop on the very personal communication between the spirit world and you on your earth journey. That's why we focus on dreams. If you want to know what you're meant to be doing at this moment in your life right now, then look no further than your dreams. Through analyzing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the superpowers you have or would have if you were to work on yourself, what would make you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. But these bumps are not in the way. They are the way. To get your dream analyzed on our show, simply email radioshow@dream-analysis.com or go to dream-analysis.com/podcast and fill in the form that's there. That's it. Sandy, give us a dream.
All righty. This is titled Running Up a Hill, and it's by Sharon. Had listened to a podcast with Jane this day. She said when she goes for a walk, she likes to take the hill part first so she can look forward to coming down the easier part on the way back.
Now, that's not in a dream, that's in reality, but it's important to know it to understand the interpretation of the dream.
Well, I'm glad you told me that. Okay, so here is the actual dream. At a retreat, maybe one with Jane. It's high above, overlooking a river. I'm meeting up with Jane to go for a walk. We walk along the edge, overlooking the river, and then head up a steep hill. And I say, oh, is this the start of our walk? The dog is with us in front. I realize I can hold on to its leash, and it helps me keep momentum up the hill. I've done this with my dog. Along the way, the dog stops occasionally under the overhang, white hydrangeas, and it's a beautiful picture. At the top, there are craft shops or a line of open-air stalls all along the ridge. I feel like this side there might be a view of the ocean. There's also several kittens around, each having a different reaction to the dog. The dog is very patient. Right, Michael? So what's going on with Sharon?
All right. So remember at the start, when she says, oh, is this the start of our walk? She's saying it because she's now going on the walk that Jane would set out, because she had said that she goes up a hill first so that she has the easy route on the way back. Now that's reality, but in the dream, it's her dream and somebody else is showing this is the way we're going to walk. And she says nothing. She's just like, oh, is this the way we're going? So that's really important. Basically, she holds herself back in spiritual relationships. She doesn't know where she fits in. And we know that because we have cats and dogs in the same dream. Like they don't get on, right? But she holds herself back because the dog is on a leash. So this is why she holds herself back in spiritual relationships. And we know it's about that because Jane is a spiritual guru, not her name. And so basically she lets the other person dictate the direction, and she puts a lot of energy into their direction, not into her direction. And she doesn't share casually what interests her or ever pull anybody in the direction she wants to go. And her guides basically want her to be aware of this. And they're saying to her, look, we want you to go in the direction that you want to go anyway, even if you're on your own, and then see who follows you. Now, I know you're going to have questions, so give them.
All righty. So we've got walking along the edge overlooking a river.
That makes it spiritual. Walking alongside a river is the classic, or driving beside a river or beside the ocean, and she's got both. It makes it a spiritual dream. Water in a dream is your spiritual path.
Okay, and then we have white hydrangeas.
So that's love. That's actually a good symbol. So periodically, even though she's being dragged along a path that she doesn't want to go on, and she's being dragged by the dog, but the dog is on the leash. So it's like she holds herself on a leash and she's still going the wrong direction because somebody else is dictating the direction. But there's still beauty in it for her. There's still benefit for her. But she now needs to go her own direction.
Very good. Last one. We have that the dog is very patient. What does that mean?
You could never say, I know what Sharon's into. This is what she likes. Because she only ever reinforces what somebody else is into. So she puts all her energy into what other people do, what other people want, what other people say. And nobody knows what she would be into on her own. And yet nobody notices this about her. That's what her patience is. And she's looking at all the kittens, that they're all different. And they're all having a different reaction to the dog, to her. So she sees the uniqueness and individuality, but nobody would ever know.
Wow, that's actually kind of sad. All right, let's see what else is going on with Sharon, because the next stream is also from her, and it's titled Lighter. At the same retreat or gathering, my family came for a visit. They had arrived late. We were all in bed along the floor, many people in the same room. One young boy had a lighter attached to his shirt, and he was showing how he could turn it on. We were all a bit apprehensive with him wearing this to bed. I said to him, I know you're very capable, but do you know the main cause of house fires? He replied, mattresses. So he gave me the lighter. I got up and handed it to someone to give it to the prop master to file it away until morning. I was concerned that another piece that I had handed over was still on the desk. Sarah, looking very old and not like herself, I kept staring to try to see any part of her in this new face. Other women were talking about, was she sure her kids would be up early and want to go to the park? Well, that's a very interesting dream there, Michael.
All right.
Still at the retreat.
Yeah, it's a continuation, obviously, of the last dream. But I asked her what age the boy was, because that's important, because the light is going to be like the sparkle of life. And you can imagine an 8-year-old with a lighter. Look, I have a lighter. We have 8-year-olds. We have 9-year-olds. We know what they're like. And they're just mesmerized by these things. And someone comes along and takes it off her. So at age 8, someone used logic to take away from her the sparkle of life. Because it's like, hey, what did those things do? What's the biggest cause of house fires? And the boy has to admit it in the dream. And because of that, she lost an aspect of herself at that age. And the dream is showing her that. And so we have it in the dream, though, that he gave her the lighter and then she handed it to the prop master. So it's like she gave up a part of herself willingly, because of the influences, let's say. Like that's why the dream shows her doing it, taking it off the boy and giving it to the prop master. And she's saying to herself at the time, I'll take this back whenever I need it. Like whenever it's going to be needed in life, I can just get it. But then, of course, we don't. We don't get it. Anyway, you probably have questions.
I do. Okay. So her family came for a visit. Where are they sleeping? Are they on the floor too? What's going on with the family?
So the previous part of a dream is about spirituality. And beds and dreams are often about your spiritual side because we leave our bodies during our sleep. We're aware of our spirituality. We do spiritual things, go to the astral plane, talk to other spirits, incarnate and discarnate. And so that's what that can mean. But when it does mean that, usually the beds are not in a bedroom. So here, all the beds are along the floor. And I asked her, like, is it a bedroom? She said, no, it wasn't really. So it stays with the theme. And then we have family influences impacting her spiritual development, let's say. So it matches with the previous part.
Very good. And then let's see, what is the prop master?
So this is kind of like, I'm handing this away to one of my guides and saying, I'll get this back. You can give it back to me whenever I need it in my life. But she's never asked for it. So she's being reminded in the dream, hey, this is still there. You have not lost this spark. You can get it back whenever you want. In other words, we want you to get it back now.
That's beautiful. Okay, and then Sarah is looking very old and not like herself. And so she's staring at her to see if she can see any part of her in the new face. What is going on with that?
So that and the part that she says, somebody's questioning, do you really know your kids? Are you sure they're going to want to get up early and go to the park? So it's like, do you really know yourself? Did you lose connection with who you were as a kid? But looking at somebody and going, I don't recognize this person. And I'm looking to see, can I please recognize this person? It's all about you. So it's like, can you recognize yourself? Have you let yourself get old without doing the things in life that you thought you were going to do when you came here? And so when I channeled on this, it fits in with the first part. Basically, a spiritual advisor stopped her from going in the direction that she would have enjoyed in life. And that's not picking on the spiritual advisor. This is her trait that she lets other people dictate her direction. So it's time for her now to dictate her own direction.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to see she's waking up to do that. Anyways, are you ready to move on to the next
I
dream?
am.
Because it's got some interesting things for you to talk about. You want to go?
Sure. And we break this one up because it's kind of a long dream, but I wanted to include it because it's so very, very healing. Now, as Sandy reads it, you might go, how is that healing? But this is the type of dream you want to have, but you can only get it when you put in the work on yourself to get it. So the dreamer is near the end of working on issues connected to mom. And how do we know it? Well, because the dream shows it. Now, I cut it down. So even if this feels long, I cut this dream down. And some of the parts I cut out are some of the really nice parts, where she's going on a romantic bike ride or looking at the stars and other things like that. People playing jokes and having fun. But let's dive into it.
All righty. I love the title. The title is The Wonderful Group, and it's from Karen. The dream begins with me constantly looking for a group. Either I isolate myself from them or I'm too slow. I remember being completely wet and looking for them. Now I'm with them. We're somewhere on a height near a house. Down in the valley, we have a little shop with a secondhand clothes in a kind of shopping center. Alrighty, Michael, let's begin.
So we like the title, The Wonderful Group. And typically when you're working on issues around mom, it means you didn't bond with the earth plane. You didn't feel unconditional love from mom. And this makes you feel like you don't have your own tribe. So from this title, even in the title, she's already found her tribe. So she's looking for a group at the start and she says, okay, I isolate myself from them. But then she does catch up with them. She's with them. So that's good. That's the first part. So the dream shows the issue and then shows the solution because she's there. So the work that she's doing on herself has closed the gap. And then the secondhand clothes store in a shopping center. So shopping centers or malls are about addressing our needs, and secondhand clothes or a thrift store. In this sense, it's good because it's about community when I channeled on it. It's not really about the clothes and the other things that are in there. It's all about community helping community.
Ooh, that's cool. All righty. I will go on. In front of the house is a terrace with two large square planters on legs. Together, we take care of the plants. We water them, tidy things up, all with great joy and love. One of the planters doesn't seem quite finished yet. There are some harvest grass, and I see bare soil and say, we could make a nicer little mini garden here with some small round bowls as a pond. It's a big responsibility. We have to care for these gardens for a long time, 6 months. Slowly, I began to realize that we also get to use the house for 6 months as a second-hand shop. The people who run the whole shopping center below decided this. He granted it to us out of the goodness of his heart. We are so happy. We keep singing, dancing, and joking. It is wonderful to be with this group. They feel new and familiar all at the same time. We are incredibly dynamic together.
Okay, so you can see the healing there. Having a musical dream where everybody breaks into song and dance. And in many of our other dreams, the reproductive system comes up, and we see it coming up here again, and we see it come up in a healing way. The two large square planters, that would be the ovaries, but it's healing because they're going to make this garden up. And then the grass itself, She's saying it doesn't quite seem finished. The planters don't quite seem finished. There's some harvested grass. So even harvest, mentioning harvest is another symbol for the reproductive system. And we see it coming up later in the dream. And then she's talking about a mini garden, another thing. But they're actually going to do it. They're going to create this, which is really good. And I told her, if you didn't finish it, because she said they weren't finished, go back into this dream and finish the mini garden. Make it look absolutely wonderful.
Oh, that's lovely. I love the dancing and singing and joking. That is awesome. And then what about the 6 months?
So she's doing a healing program with us at the moment. And when she finishes, we typically say don't do anything for 3 to 5 months. And the dream is saying don't do anything for 6 months. Take it easy, just relax. And the reason for that is when you get into alignment, when whatever therapy you're doing, whether it's energy work or whatever, counseling or whatever, when it's working, you build up a momentum, stepping into alignment with what your higher self wants you to do, what you came here for in the first place. And once that momentum starts, they don't want you to do anything different because that's going to put the brakes on that. So you're going to keep getting the benefit of being in alignment basically with your soul's purpose and mission. And so here they're saying, just take it easy for 6 months.
Wow, that's beautiful. We're going to continue. When we're inside, I see there's a lot to clean up. I realize that most of the mess is mine. No one seems to mind. Singing, we bring the stuff downstairs and outside. I only remember long steel profiles, like for wall framing or something.
Here she says, I realize that most of the mess is mine. That's the whole point of therapy, that you get to the point of realizing I am the one that needs to do work. A lot of the time we're like, okay, so this person messes me up and I have to do the work to get myself out of the mess that somebody else put me in. Absolutely. That's spiritually what it's all about. And a lot of us don't push back against that. It seems very unfair, but it's not. If we understand the whole thing, it's fantastic. So the mess is hers to clean up. And then the steel profiles. We've seen that in other dreams of hers, lots of steel being mentioned. So she focuses on safety. Is this structure safe? And we see it cropping up because it just is that's what she does.
Interesting. Okay, we're going to continue. Suddenly, I'm alone in the back room with my brother. When I want to leave, I have to climb over the couch he's sitting on. He says something is broken and gives me 2 pairs of glasses, at least one of which is broken. I know he did it. He said my phone is broken too. I see a clear plastic case with a plug in it. I say it's not a problem. It's only packing. He stays home and I crawl over the couch to go outside. Then I realize I probably don't have a new phone now. My pocket feels heavy, but maybe not because of the phone. It's a bit strange to be without a phone, but I think I'll be fine.
So the main part of this is that her brother greatly affects her outlook on life because of how he treated her as a child. There was a specific incident. I think he pushed her down the stairs and broke something of hers. But she directly connects him with silencing her voice. So him breaking the phone impacted her ability to be able to communicate her emotions, share how she feels with other people. But it's coming up in the dream because it's being fixed. Because we see, she says, he stays home and I crawl over the couch to go outside. So the couch is counseling. So through the therapy and work that I'm doing, I overcome the issues with him. And I don't really think it's a big deal now that he has done that damage. I think I'm actually going to be okay.
What's going on with the phone?
That's the communication, the expression of feelings.
And then we have 2 pairs of glasses. One is broken.
So again, he affects her outlook in life. And only one is broken, but still it shows the damage that he's done. But still the main part of the dream, and the reason it's a positive dream, is she overcomes that. She now goes past it. He's left behind.
I love it. Okay. Then I see an old housemate sitting on a small round stool talking on the phone with the benefactor. He asks about the insurance. If we have to pay for those 6 months, the shop will cost us money. And since we don't earn anything from it ourselves, I find it very clever of him to think of this and gesture that I'm proud of him. He'll sort it out.
So this is one of the issues she has, that she doesn't feel that people look out for her. Again, comes from mom, comes from other stuff too. But it's coming up in the dream and then it's healed. So it's a repeated way the dream does it, shows the issue, shows her overcoming it. And I actually cut out a piece after this where she goes cycling with him. And I said, very romantic, looking at stars. So it's like we have a bad piece and then we show that the healing has worked.
Wow, that's beautiful. I see it's still 6 p.m. I keep checking the clock, but the time moves wonderfully slowly. It's so early. We are getting ready to leave. We are still so happy and singing. The group on the bikes follow us. It's wonderful to keep seeing them appear next to the bus. And then we're at a small house, and through the doorway, we see a little old lady. She is just placing a round chocolate cake with raspberry on top of it. The cake is for her grandson, who is away for his martial arts course. The woman disappears for a moment.
I said the reproductive system will come up again. Here it is. Making a cake is another symbol. Like we know a bun in the oven. So this is the preparation for a bun in the oven, creating the ingredients for the cake. And then the raspberry or fruit in a dream is also about the reproductive system. So again, all the issues there, the issues with femininity and so on, all being helped and healed. However, here we see direct mention of her protecting herself from the age 12, because I asked what age was the boy, and he's off learning martial arts. So this is her getting into defensive protective mode from that age.
Very good. I love all the happy and singing. It's still great. Okay, in between, I see my old neighborhood boy from the house I lived between 11 and 17 getting on a full bus. He's grown a bit, about 8 years old, and wearing a light blue denim outfit, but his pinkish legs and arms are bare. I see his fleshy knees and forearms and think about how perfectionistic his mother always was. So that results in imperfect, chubby children, I think meanly.
Yeah, it is a bit mean, isn't it? But basically, mom was a perfectionist and we copy mom's perfectionist nature. So that sounds okay. What's wrong with a perfectionist? So you can never achieve mom's high standard. She set such a high standard, I can never achieve it. And so what we do is we end up walking into a minefield. Whatever we do is not going to be good enough. And so we're trying to anticipate, what is mom going to criticize me for now? And so we end up copying what she's doing. We try to anticipate what she's going to criticize us for, and we criticize ourselves and try take care of whatever that issue would be before we ever encounter her. And so we copy it ourselves. The weight is protection that she has on herself, but we know the protection from the martial arts and so on. But shows the issues with mom, how mom was mean to her and she's copied it.
To herself.
Yeah.
That's too bad. But this is healing that, right?
It's showing it because it has to bring it up and then show the healing, which is just what this dream does over and over again.
Oh, that's fabulous. Okay. I also see a child of an old housemate get on the bus. She seems around 17, also chubby, wearing a lot of clothes and a purple wig. She doesn't want to attract attention and quickly steps inside to disappear among the people. I hear her say, "No, no, it's fine."
All right. So I've cut a lot of the dream out, but it actually finishes with the old woman who's making the cake playing a funny joke. And then Karen actually wakes up from this dream laughing. And she was asking me, has that ever happened before? Have you ever known anybody wake up in such good spirits that they're laughing? And that's always really good to know. Whatever mood you wake up from a dream is what it's about. So if it's making you happy, then that's really the point of that dream. And that's how healing the dream was. So anyway, the wig and saying, no, it's fine. And also notice that this child is chubby too. So it's, I protect myself. So at age 17, I dislike authority. And we know that because purple represents authority, but because it's a purple wig, it's like it's a sham. Authority is something I dislike. And so basically, anyway, she puts up with a lot, but if she doesn't get what she wants, she doesn't do or say anything about it. Like we see her on the bus. You would expect somebody dressed like that in the purple wig to, like, if you couldn't pull anything over on them, they're going to tell you off and embarrass you or whatever. But it's the other way around. We hear that kid saying, no, no, it's fine. So that's how she would have been as a kid. Nobody would know that she has been upset.
Wow. Wow, what an amazing dream to see all the different things. The problem and then the healing. The problem, then the healing. I find that amazing, Michael. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, just that I cut the healing piece out because it went on a bit. It was already a long dream, obviously. But I cut it out, and it ends up where she's so happy that she wakes up laughing, which is really, really good.
Yeah, exactly. All righty. Now it's time for Nicole.
Hi, Sandy. Hi, Michael. Today from the radio show Mailbag, let's take a look at how children will show up as characters in our dreams. So children typically indicate immaturity, the child within, trauma that occurred at the age of the child. So here's a dream from a dreamer who wrote in. It's nighttime, and I am in my open-top car with my 12-year-old son and my 6-year-old daughter. I don't know where we are headed, but I feel as if we are having issues getting to where we want to be. It's like the car is about to break down. We stop the car in someone's yard, and I notice that there are a lot of neighborhood children playing outside. My daughter, who loves playing and anything active, sees them and runs to join them. I tell her to be careful. I see that she is headed towards ground that has ponds and patches of water that seem shallow, but might not be. As I'm yelling to her to not get into the water, she steps in the water and immediately goes under. I panic and scream because she can't swim. My son runs and dives into the water to get her. He comes back, but he only has her head. She was drowned, and the rest of her body is separated from her head. I'm devastated, crying, feeling like I've lost the only happiness there could be possibly in the world. Ah, what a heartbreaking dream. And dreams pull in our own children often to get us concerned about something that we went through at around that same age. So here, the dreamer's daughter represents a feminine aspect of the dreamer that learned to go up into her head and disassociate from her body, probably at around the age of 6, and because of something very overwhelming. As I said, dreams are using often our own children to get us concerned about something that we might not otherwise get concerned about because it's something that we went through. It's like, oh, yeah, it's just part of my life story. But if we see our own children going through something similar, we're going to become more concerned and more prone to help. And it's that kind of help, that kind of active seeking out of a solution for that younger part of us that is actually healing. So the dream is really encouraging her to heal this wound. And with that, I'll send it back to you, Sandy.
Thank you, Nicole. That's it for this week, Michael, unless you have anything else. Oh, don't forget to remind them about the summit.
Well, I think you just did, Sandy. dream-analysis.com/free summit. It's always a lot of fun, and we'd love to see you there because we actually will see you because it's two-way, not like this.
Yes, we'll get to see your faces, which is always great. All right, what a fabulous week. Thank you. And I hope everybody has a great week, and I look forward to talking with you next week.
Bye.
Bye.